So today I'm going to show you how to make pasta alla gricia. Now, this is supposedly the predecessor to carbonara. Let me take you through this. So basically, carbonara has become probably one of the most famous pasta dishes in the world. It's a Roman classic. It includes pecorino, which I have in front of me, the guanciale, which is similar to a bacon, and of course a pasta. And the sauce is made with egg yolks. I first had carbonara in New York City many years ago. And it wasn't until maybe 2021 that I finally had a real carbonara when I was in Rome. And of course, I adore carbonara. But then on one of my trips back to Rome, I had pasta alla gricia. And it was my first time. And honestly, I didn't even know that this pasta existed. But once I looked into the history of all the pastas in Rome, this one was considered like the oldest in the pasta tradition of Roman cuisine. Now, the difference between carbonara and gricia is that the gricia does not include the egg yolks. So basically, it's just the meat, the cheese, and the pasta. Now, to me, that's perfect the way it is. The fact that carbonara is so popular, I like to like something that is less popular, sort of like the underdog. So I'd like to call this the underdog of Roman pastas. So let's get started on this pasta alla gricia. In Rome, they serve this with a particular pasta shape called mezze maniche. It's like a rigatoni, except half the length. In front of me, I have this about 4-ounce piece of guanciale. This is a peppered version, so that just means I'm going to add maybe a little less pepper than I would normally do. I'm going to cut the skin off the bottom, and I'm going to cut this into 2 slices pretty much. I like the guanciale to be super thick, and then I'm just going to cut them into like these lardons. And this dish is really only authentic if you use guanciale. In the past, when I wasn't really as familiar with the Roman pasta cuisine as I am now, I made carbonara with pancetta, and looking back on that moment now, boy, I regret it because it really was not that good. Okay. And now I'm just going to put the guanciale into my skillet. So I'm just laying the guanciale out into a single layer in a relatively cold pan that I'm just starting to bring up to the heat. The secret with working with guanciale is that you want to render the fat out slowly. So as it starts to sizzle, I'm going to start reducing the heat little by little because I don't want it to catch or burn. I just want it to really let out all that fat and become as crispy and unctuous as possible. Okay, I'm going to salt my pasta water. And I'm going to add my mezze maniche. I'm just going to give this a little stir with this scoop. So this pasta calls for a cooking time of about 14 minutes. But with pasta alla gricia and pasta alla carbonara, with these types of dishes, you want to have really al dente pasta. And you want the pasta water to become a part of the sauce. So what we want to do is cook the pasta very well under the 14-minute cooking time. So like 7-8 minutes tops, and then cook it further in the skillet with the guanciale and with the pasta water. So I'm just lowering the heat just to make sure that the rendering is happening slowly. Just giving it a stir to make sure that they don't stick to one another. And now some people like to remove a portion of the guanciale so that it stays crispy and to use it as a topping. But oftentimes I'm just too lazy to do that. I'll just leave it in the pan, add the pasta water. I like it that way because it's kind of more unctuous. It cooks a little bit more with the pasta water and it exchanges the flavors. So I think I'm just going to be lazy today and keep it all in the pan. And even though this guanciale is a peppered variety, I'm going to add a little bit more of my own ground pepper. And I'm going to start adding the pasta to my skillet. I have it on medium heat. You want the pasta to slowly cook through. And I'm also adding pasta water. Then you can see it's kind of forming a little sauce. So what's happening here is the pasta is letting out more of its starch. It's working along with the pasta water, with the fat from the guanciale, and you're getting this beautiful, rich sauce. And it's just going to get better once I add the pecorino Romano. Okay, I'm going to try one of the noodles, but I think it's pretty much done. So I'm going to kill the heat, turn off the fan, and now the moment we've been all waiting for, I'm going to add some of the pecorino. And you want to do this off the heat because you don't want the cheese to curdle. So I would say like a quarter cup is good at this point, and then you can always add more. And more is now. Now I'm going to serve myself. And this is the kind of amount that I could eat all by myself, or you might share this with one other person, but I think when I'm in the mood, I will eat the whole thing. And I'm going to grate some more pecorino on top because I like the texture that this microplane creates. And more black pepper because why not? And with this type of pasta, there is no waiting. It's one of those pasta dishes that you want to eat immediately when they bring it out to you when you're sitting in Rome, even if it's summer. So let me dive in. This is also one of those pasta dishes where you're not going to have any conversation at the table because you're just going to keep eating it. I really love pasta alla Gricia. It's just so comforting. The silly thing is that I often end up going to Rome in the hottest of summers, and I end up sitting out on a terrace ordering this dish and sweating bullets over it, but I still will live through that because I just love this pasta dish so much. Whenever you crave something really rich and really hearty, I highly recommend trying a pasta alla Gricia. It's a really satisfying meal, very filling of course, and it hits all the spots for me. So let me know what you think about this recipe in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.